Hi, and welcome to this week's Fried AI with me, Billy McLaughlin. It is the day of love, so happy Valentine's to you all. Now, there's not so much love coming from Eric Schmidt, who is the former CEO of Google. You're going to see a little bit of this in the press. It's been around the last few days, and I think it's only going to get worse. He has said that there's going to be significant threats due to AI. I don't doubt it. I think where there becomes great opportunities, there also comes great threats. But please be mindful that the press do really like to scaremonger, and I wouldn't want it to slow down adoption. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about OpenAI before I move on to a point about Google. And that's because they've released a couple of models recently. So we've got the O3 Mini, which is a free version and probably the best free large language model on the market. And there's a few reasons for this. So it connects to the internet, which a lot of large language models do not do. And because of that, it means that its capabilities are much more enhanced. One thing I would say is you sometimes do have to explicitly tell it to go access the internet. It doesn't necessarily do it on its own merit. So if you're finding you're not getting those results, make sure you do tell it. And it has this kind of advanced reasoning, which is great. And it doesn't suffer from the hallucinations that we saw in the legacy 3.5 model. So the O3 Mini model is very, very good if you are looking for a free one. One thing I would say that we're seeing a lot of people really enjoy about large language models is the option to upload documents. The reason for this is that it's a really quick way to teach it about you, about your clients. Maybe you want to do some analysis. You don't want to be typing it all out. So the idea that you can upload documents is really great. The other, I want to say model, but it's kind of more of a new entity altogether that OpenAI have launched is Operator. Now, this combines the best of the 4O model with computer visibility. So this essentially means that it has computer vision capabilities and can see what it's doing. And I say that sort of in quotation marks because obviously it cannot see, but it feels like it can. It's really, really strange. If you see this in action, or if you've been in a self-drive car, so recently I saw this video of Tesla, and the cars now at Tesla, when they're complete in the factory, self-drive themselves to the parking spots in the loading bay ready to be shipped off to the car garages, which it looks so futuristic, it's actually frightening. And if you've ever seen Operator in action, it's a very similar thing to a self-drive car where you can watch your computer screen, you see the mouse moving, it's like someone else is taking control, but there's this spooky feeling knowing that there's not a person behind it. Now, unfortunately, Operator is not available in the UK. It's just US at the moment, which is why I'm not really going to go into much detail. But it is $200 a month. I wanted to really quickly mention it now because I think this will be available to the UK soon. We're seeing this form of agentic AI and AI going away and doing tasks for us. But the message that I think I really want to get across here is please don't look at this as a software cost of $200 a month, because this is going to essentially take away so many tasks from people in your firm. If you compared that $200 to what you would get from a team member or paying a human on your payroll, that $200 will 100% be worth it. Security comes into line here, and Jason Stats has done a really great post about security. There's no point in me kind of going through it, so I'm going to put a link to that post below. He explains really, really well, and I often say, if it's free, they're learning from you, you are the product. But one of the things he's brought to users' attention is if you're using the Teams plan, you get SOC 2 Type 2 security, and not even all accounting apps have this. So for people that are worried about using GPT Teams and worried about the security, it is much more secure than probably a lot of the apps that you're using. Whether this is, which I think this is an argument to use it, but this might also be an argument to do an audit on the security of your current tech, going way beyond AI. He also highlights the importance of multi-factor authentication. So when it comes to logging in, it's the access points that are the weak points when it comes to artificial intelligence. And we've just talked about this $200 model that actually doesn't have this level of security. So making sure that these new products that come to market are still meeting those standards. And then finally, a note on Google. It can now tailor answers to things that you've previously said. So it didn't do this before, but what it means is you don't have to repeat information. You don't have to retype conversations you've had. It can remember the conversations you've had. It does this by default now, I think as of just yesterday. So if you are using Google Gemini, please be mindful of this. And if you don't want to do that, there is a way you can turn it off by just going into the My Activity tab. And within there, you can tell it that you don't want it to essentially learn from what you're saying or retain any of that information. So if you want to turn off the recall feature, it's in the My Activity tab. And the last piece of information, if you are still around, is for the gossip. And this is quite a juicy piece. You've probably seen all I can explain it as is a really fun website, a few LinkedIn posts that have come from Not Enough Bread. Now, if you haven't seen this, imagine the facts of artificial intelligence and accounting technology, but with a really cool hint of satire, really sort of taking the biscuit, but from a really factual place. If you are into that and you want something that is going to make you smile several times a week, please do go check out Not Enough Bread. And top secret information for all of you, I think it might be Mr. Adam Clark that is behind it. And I have a sneaky suspicion that now I've outed him, he's going to have a statement ready for you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'll see you all next week.